Hello everybody, welcome to the Dann Petty Show, where we talk about the top random stories in design of the week. Last week, some stuff went down last week, and we got to talk about it. In the not so epic last week, I discovered Sumo. Now Sumo is a product that lets you take advantage of people. In their words, it's a place to win cash and get recognized by tackling problems for companies. No, you do not do this to people. You do not do this to people. I found this because I got an email from somebody there and it said, I'm working with one of the biggest consulting firms in the world, 200,000 plus employees. They've got some money. I'm working with them on a facial recognition app. It's a contest on Sumo with a $1,000 reward. Whoa, $1,000. All right. Wait, you said contest. What's the gimmick here? What's happening? What's going on? And looking at your background on Behance, which I haven't posted to in years, by the way, I think you have a fantastic skill set for this project and very likelihood of winning. Oh. This project will only be posted for a week, so we only anticipate a small number of submissions, like 10. 1 out of 10? So he's saying there's a chance. I got a chance to win $1,000 right here. This is gonna be good. Woo! If you plan on submitting a few screens, let me know and I'll put a star. The only thing I've ever wanted more than $1,000, more than actually getting paid for my work, is a star. I want a star next to mine. Can I have a star next? It looks like I have a 1 out of 10 chance to get, no. I'll put a star next to, I already get the star. Just by getting this email, I get the star. If I reply, I get a star. I'll put a star next to your name so the client knows to spend more time on your costs. You would do that for me? You would do that for me? You would give me a star just so the client can see my work and actually spend more time on it? Who cares if it's good or not? But because I have a star, now the question is, why am I getting this special treatment? Because I'm not. I guarantee you everyone that got this email is getting a star. There are 0 submissions. Thank goodness there are 0 submissions on this thing. Like if you are one of the people that go to Sumo and participate in these contests, you're getting played. You're getting played so hard. You're gonna do all this work, and you're not gonna win. If you do win, you're probably gonna spend a lot of time, more than $1,000 worth of time. And this is just bad. How do things like this exist? Twitter. What are you doing, buddy? Man, they're struggling. Like the stock's going down and down and down. I have a feeling like maybe in a couple of years it might not be around. It's kind of scary. Simply just tweeting out, reaching out to people. That's how I got work sometimes. I let people know I'm freelancing. I let people know when I'm hosting a new event, portfolio piece, whatever it is. Like that's my way of like marketing and getting my name out there and doing these things and talking to people and having real conversations online. And it's just like, dang, what if it's not here? You know, I mean, say what you want about Twitter. The past year or so has been like a train wreck, like just from the people on there and the hate and everything's going on. Like Twitter's crazy, especially with designers. But I love Twitter and I love the people on there. The fact that it might not be here, it's kind of, it's weird. To me, it's almost like, imagine if like text messaging wasn't available or an email. Like it's that kind of caliber for me, because I use it all the time. I have a feeling that they will kind of figure things out and things will come around. I don't know, I hope it sticks around. They have a part-time CEO. Can we talk about this new liking thing? Like, do I like or do I retweet? I don't know. Just because I like something doesn't mean I want everybody in the world to know that I like it. And I'm actually starting to see what other people are liking. It's kind of, I don't know. You know what? I'm sorry about that. That was a little depressing. We say we try that again and do some positive stuff, some epic positive stuff. We need some positivity in our life. What if we do that? You want some? Let's do some. Last week, Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon.com, became the world's richest man. But sadly, it only lasted for a day because the very next morning, he became second place again after Bill Gates, the Microsoft guy. We also had a big birthday last week. Happy birthday, Jeff Tehan. You're one of the greatest humans, man. Like, thank you for creating Tehan and Lax back in the day. Back when you were doing the free PSDs for everyone, that was like just a game changer. Like no one was doing that yet. I mean, yeah, some people were kind of doing free icons and things like that, but no one's doing the whole GUI of like the Apple iOS system. Like no one was doing that, and you were. So happy birthday, buddy. We love you. Thank you for everything you've been doing for us. Now I have to mention this story because this was epic for me last week. It's actually it's just one of the highlights of my career right here. And I know it seems very small and little. Album Surfboards, my favorite surfboards, I've got like 4 or 5 of them. I use them all the time. They put me on their list of ambassador. Now there's only like 15 people on this list. They chose me. I don't know why, but this is like one of the biggest honors of all time. I mean, because look at this. I'm on the same list as Eric Geiselman, who's my favorite surfers. Chris Burkard, who's one of the... you know who Chris Burkard is. He's just one of the most legendary photographers in the surfing industry. Like, man. And then, of course, one of my favorite, if not my favorite designers of all time. This guy inspired the crap out of me. David Carson. I'm on the same list as David Carson. And it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I don't belong on this list. I'll take it, but I don't belong on this list. Thank you, Album. Thank you, Album Surfboards, just for fueling the Stoke and like... This means a lot. Thank you, guys. And of course, we had Grabient, which is a new tool to quickly discover, modify, and share gradients. Grab a gradient. Now, this is a perfect opportunity to say gradients are coming back. But I'm not going to say that because that was a year ago. Obviously, gradients never left, but it's funny. It's funny to say, okay? It's funny. Because gradients kind of did leave a little bit. People were like, yeah, you shouldn't use a gradient, but actually you could do whatever you want. So they kind of left because people weren't doing gradients. Yes, some people still were doing gradients. That's not the point. The point is it became like a little design trend thing to not use gradients. Everything be flat and simple and just one color. You know what I'm talking about. Don't pretend you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, Grabient actually looks pretty cool. It was created by the folks at Unfold. They're really well known on Dribble. Eddie's one of the designers there. I think the founder of that. Super cool guy, super cool work. Now, speaking of grabbing a gradient, it is time for unsolicited feedback. Does it thunder in San Francisco? I'm going to take a screenshot of this. Bam. Paste it in freehand. Basically, the thing I want to talk about is this pop-up, right? So you select this little swatch, this pops up, and now it's kind of on top of my gradient. And this is okay, this works great. But I'm wondering if there's a way where it doesn't have to pop up over the gradient, so you can still see the gradient in full. And it actually makes for a really interesting challenge, because you have all these things down here that you got to account for. I mean, and there's only so much space, right? So I only have this space to kind of work with. So what can you do? I feel like you could, utilize this area where you select the swatch and then the gradient pops up, and this area down here is now white, right? And it has all this information on here. So you have like your slider and everything. That's one approach. Another approach could be just like more of a reveal type thing. So the whole swatch here now moves up here, to make it to where there's nothing here but white or something like that. And it gets really challenging because there's a lot of solutions here that we could do, but there's so many elements that we have to account for. And I feel like the hardest element to account for is the top gradient on the selector when you're selecting the actual the darkness and lightness of the color that you're wanting to use on your gradient. All right, so let's take a look at this other idea. I've already jumped into Photoshop really quick just to mock it up really fast. Now, I obviously haven't spent as much time as Eddie has, thinking this through and what works, what doesn't work. Basically, what I'm trying to do is not make it to where the pop-up box to change your colors and everything is on top of the gradient. So one idea, and an idea I think works well, it needs a little bit more thought, is when you click your swatch, you get a white background and it slides up, okay? So it slides up, and it basically makes the gradient smaller. So it's not sliding up on top of the gradient, it's actually scaling the gradient with it as it slides up. And you can put all your controls on there. I feel like this works. Now, I'm not saying it's better, it's a different solution, and it keeps us from having the pop-up on top of the gradient, but you do lose, the big, beautiful box of the gradient. But I don't know that it's necessary to have the whole square. Because who knows what the actual gradient is going to be. It could be just a line, it could be a circle. It's not necessarily always a square. Maybe this actually does work pretty well. If our end result is to get rid of the pop-up on top of the gradient, this could be a solution. And you can put an X up here to just drop it down. You still, again, you still have all your controls. Now, I feel like this looks pretty funky. Obviously, it's not centered and everything, but this looks pretty funky with the darkness and lightness selector up here. I don't know, maybe it's not that bad. To me, it feels a little funky. I feel like this is working. I feel like I'm still missing something. I'm not sure what I'm missing. I'm sure, again, I haven't put any thought into this. I'm sure Eddie has put a lot of thought into certain reasons why he's done something. But again, I feel like this works. I'm curious, what do y'all think? What do y'all think of this solution? How can we do things differently? How can we make this look more thought out? At least my version more thought out. Yeah, just a little thought. But I do want to say one thing. Like, Figma's doing some cool stuff, right? And then there's Sketch, which was doing cool stuff back in the day, and I don't know, like, I'm not a heavy Sketch user, so I'm only speaking from what I hear and what I see, but they're not really involved with us, the community. Again, I could be totally wrong, but they're not really like innovating and doing these things. Like, they don't have prototyping. To prototype with the Sketch, you still need Envision, but I don't know, are they there? Hello? Hey, Sketch. You guys there? Hello? Anybody there? Why do I do this to myself?